Welcome to yet another one, question 7 November 2020, right here at Maths with Gustin. We are given a function question here. It was a function question of a parabola and also a straight line. What is given there is f of x in terms of x plus y in brackets and then x minus 6. It's a parabola. It cuts through b and d as the x-intercept, and then g is our y-intercept, and then c is the turning point, which we get when the first derivative is equals to 0, and therefore we have line AE, which has an angle of inclination that cuts through the x-axis and the y-axis at A and E respectively. Okay, let's have a look at it. There you go. We can see it. There it is here. It's cutting through here, and then it's cutting through. There is our angle of inclination there. Great stuff. And then T is a point of f of x between B and D. So this point that they are referring to, it is just a point there. They didn't give it to us. And then we have got 5 questions on this question 7 of 2021. So we are gonna go through our head and start from 7.1 up until 7.5. all right, okay, let's go ahead and deal with this question. Okay, 7.1 says write down the coordinates of B and D. All right, I think it was worth 2 marks. Write down the coordinates of B and D. Straightforward. What is given there? It's f of x. So what is B and D? Those are our x-intercept, right? Okay, great stuff. So we get our x-intercept when y is equal to 0. So therefore f of x needs to be equal to 0 in order for us to get our x-intercept values. Remember, they said the coordinates, guys, so you need to give them as such. So x is going to be equal to minus, and then or x is equal to 6. Okay, let's have a look which one is on the positive side. Is D. Therefore B will have to be minus 4 is to 0, and then D is going to be 6 is to 0. All right, great stuff. So that's how you would deal with it. Just a straightforward question that is given there. So we already have got these 2 points here, B and D. Great stuff. Okay, 7.2. 7.2 says calculate the coordinates of C. What is C? According to the question, C is the turning point. C is the turning point. All right. So if it's the turning point, therefore it means we need to get the turning point when the first derivative is equal to 0. So therefore we are gonna come into our original equation here. Therefore remove all the brackets so that we can take the derivative. Minus 6. So we're gonna do binomial here. To remove the brackets is going to be x squared. We are going to have minus 6x plus 4x, and then 4 times negative 6. 4 times negative 6 should give us negative 24. All right, so therefore here we go, x squared negative 6x plus 4 is going to be 2x, okay, minus 24. That's f of x. Okay, so the derivative, you know what to do with the derivative. If you don't know, please go have a look at our video on the derivatives. We said you drop the 2, then minus 1 from that exponent, so it's gonna give us 1. Drop the 1 here, minus 2. Therefore x to the power of 0 is going to be 0. All right, so we get it when the first derivative is equal to 0. So therefore we need to solve for x here. I'm going to take negative 2 to that side. 2x is equal to 2 divided by 2 divided by 2. Therefore x is going to give us 1. All right, so when we finish, you need to substitute this 1 into the original equation. All right, just gonna write it here and said sub this x here into the original equation, into original f of x. All right, into original f of x. Okay, and therefore, ladies and gentlemen, that should give you a f of x. When f of x is equals to 1, you should get negative 25. Okay, you should get negative 25. Therefore the coordinates of C is going to be 1 is to negative 25. And that's how you will deal with this question of 7.2. And then 7.3, I'm going to write it here. 7.3 said, write down the range. Range, we're looking at the y values where write down the range of the, it's a y value. So if you have a look at this graph, it cuts here at what? At negative 25y. All right. So below that, there's no graph. So therefore, simple guys, don't panic when you see. I know learners normally lose 2 marks on questions like this, or a mark. All right. So you can see from here going up, it's a graph. Rather than that, we're not looking horizontally, we're looking vertically, because we're looking at the y values rather. So from negative minus going upwards. Okay, so any values that are greater or equal to negative 25. Right, can you see the range? The range is anything above this, the graph exists. Below that, the graph does not exist. So therefore, what the examiner is simply asking you is asking you from which values of y will the graph be there. Okay, so the graph will be there in any values including minus 25 going upwards. I hope that's clear, guys. Most of us will lose a mark or 2 when it comes to such questions like this. Okay, so let's go ahead to 7.4. Okay, 7.4 said, given theta 14.04 degrees and the tangent of f of x at t is perpendicular to AE. Okay, where is t? T is here. Okay, there's t. So we know that t is perpendicular to AE. So there's AE there. There's line AE there. Oh, my line is not like... Oh, all right. Okay, never mind. There you go. There's our AE there. So there's t. So they said they are perpendicular. Immediately when they speak of perpendicular, guys, what do we think of? Gradients that are the product of the gradient of those two lines must give us -1. Analytical geometry. Okay, great stuff. So let's go ahead and see. The first question says, calculate the gradient of AE corrected to 2 decimal place. Okay, we're here 7.4, 7.4.1. Okay, so we need to calculate the gradient. You are given there. You must know, you will remember that gradient of any given is going to be theta tan theta. Okay, so what do we have here? We are given tan, the angle of that line, 0.4 degrees. Okay, so it means our gradient, if you go and punch this in our calculator, let's see, tan 1.40 degrees should give us 0.25. Okay, and that's how you will deal with this one, guys. Please remember, this formula is there on your formula sheet. Okay, please don't get confused. It's there on your formula sheet, just that you have used this formula in analytical geometry, but the examiners want to see if you can do integrated information and use as much concept as possible to be able to solve these questions. Okay, so there's no need for you to be cramming and not understanding the concept. All right, okay, 7.4.2, calculate the coordinates of t. So we need to calculate the coordinates of t. Okay, in this case, we know that t is perpendicular to AE. So therefore, the product of the gradient of between AE multiplied by the gradient of t should give us -1. We know this gradient of AE is 1/4. We need to find the one of mt minus 1. So you need to multiply both sides by 4, multiply both sides by 4. Therefore, the gradient of t should give us -4. Okay, great stuff. So now, if it gives us -4, remember, we are referring to the gradient. So therefore, when you get f of x, okay, we know that f of x, in f of x, the first derivative gives us the gradient. Okay, so now what you want to do now in this case, because it's lying on our parabola, we would come and say, okay, the first derivative should be equal to the gradient of mt in order for us to find the coordinates of t. Okay, so now the first derivative in this case is going to be 2x minus 2 should be equal to negative 4. Excuse me, there is equal to negative 4. So therefore, if you were to solve for x here, you should be able to get to a situation there, minus 4 plus 2, okay, which is going to give us, let me just separate here, which is going to give us 2x is equal to negative 2 divided by 2 both sides. Therefore x, this is the x at t, should give us negative 1. Okay, so therefore if this is the x at t negative 1, we should go back to our original equation at f of x to substitute this negative 1 to get the y value at t. All right, okay, let's come here and say, and this kind of makes sense if negative 1 is here. So what is y? So we're expecting y to be less than, because here it's what is 25, ne? So we're expecting y to be, no, actually yes, negative 24. So we're expecting y to be less than or greater than negative 24. Okay, so we come here, substitute this negative 1 into our original equation, squared minus 2 minus 1 minus 24, which all in all should give us negative 21. Therefore, oh sorry, negative 21. All right, therefore the values at t should they are going to be equal to negative 1 is to negative 21. Great stuff. Okay, and then here we just applied simple analytical geometry. We applied what we know. We know that the first derivative of any function gives you the gradient. So with that, and then they also told us that t is perpendicular to AE, which we were able to get the gradient and equate the two, then we were able to get the value of x. So now let's go ahead and move to 7.5. right, 7.5 is said a straight line G parallel to AE. All right, immediately when they say parallel, we know what happens when something is parallel to something. It means their gradient are equal. Okay, and therefore they said cuts at point K minus 3 is to negative 3, where and R, and then calculate the x coordinate of R. Okay, so R is unknown in this case. All right, so they are requiring us, they are saying it's a straight line G. So they've already, we know G, it's passing there. Okay, it's passing at E. G is parallel to AE. So maybe let's just say this is G here. Okay, which is parallel to AE. Okay, as stated by the equation. So the gradient of G, they are the same. Okay, so AE's gradient was what? AE gradient was equal to, AE gradient was 1 over 4. Therefore, the gradient of G should be 1 over 4. Okay, so this line cuts through at point K, ne? So point K, it means point K. Okay, actually it's not here. All right, I made a mistake here. G is not sitting here, guys. Sorry about that. So I think G is sitting somewhere here because it's on a third quadrant. Okay, I think G is sitting there. Let me just do this quickly so that I don't confuse you guys. Let me remove that line. It's totally wrong. So G is parallel to AE. So that's G there. Therefore, it's parallel to AE. That's our G. Okay, so it's cutting through point K. I'm just going to put K here. It's not drawn to scale. K, it's minus 3, minus 9. Okay, great stuff. So now they are saying we need to find the coordinate, x coordinate of what do they call it? R. Okay, great stuff. So now let's come here. Point of R. I think R is sitting somewhere here. Is the point of intersection between the parabola function and the new function of G. So now what we need to do here, I think it's worth 5 marks. We need to find the equation of the straight line G. MG. I'm just gonna, this formula is in your formula sheet, guys. I'm gonna use this formula from your formula sheet to find the equation of a straight line. Y minus into minus y1, which is minus 9. Gradient is 1 over 4 x into x minus 3. Close bracket. Therefore, if you were to solve this all together, you should be able to reach y plus 9 is equal to minus 4x plus 3. Therefore, multiply throughout by 1 over 4 and then take 9 to the side. 1 over 4x plus 3 over 4 minus 9. When you simplify this in your calculator, or if you are that good, then you can use minus 33 over 4. Okay, so now where is R? R is the point of intersection between the two graphs. So you are going to say G, which is this one here, G of x should be equal to f of x at this point R. Okay, it should be equal to f of x at point R. Thank you guys. If you are still watching this video, thank you for keeping up and actually watching this video until to the end to be able to see how we're going to deal with question 7.5. all right, okay, so we are gonna say 1 over 4 x minus 33 all over 4 is equal to f of x, which is x squared minus 2x minus 24. Therefore, in order to get you the answer, we are gonna multiply. Let me just separate this from that. We are going to get to say multiply by 4, multiply everything by 4 throughout. Okay, 1 over 4 is going to leave us with x minus 33. Multiply by 4 is going to be equal to 4x squared minus 8x minus I think when you multiply throughout by 4, let's see, 4 times 24 is going to give us 96. Okay, great stuff. Therefore, we just have to simplify, then take everything to that side. We are going to be left with 4x squared. Okay, then we take this as x, that side is going to be negative x, then it's going to be negative 9x. Then we take 33, that side is going to be negative 96 plus 33, which is going to leave us with negative 63 is equal to 0. Okay, therefore what we can do now, we just need to factorize this, or what we can do, you can use the quadratic formula to solve for x in this case. But what we do with the factors x and then x, and then we also need to take out the common factor here, minus 21, and therefore plus 3 will be the factors. Therefore we don't have a negative, therefore x is equal to 21 all over 4. Okay, and that's our x value at R. Okay, so therefore this is how you would deal with a question like this one. This was November question 7 2021. Please let me see you on the next upload, where we'll be doing November 2020.